I'm back here with another video. It's Bob Juice 3, and for this video we be building my dad not a gaming PC, but a PC for his work and stuff. And yeah, first let me tell you the specs and stuff. And yeah, we got a chassis, which I don't know the specific case, but all I know is that it is a classic looking case with an LED strip built in, and with 2 fans already built in. Motherboard, which is a motherboard from Gigabyte, the Gigabyte GA78LMT USB 3R2. And on there's a cooler from another brand, and there is a Ryzen FX 8300. A 120 GB SSD, which is SATA 3, and we have a 2 TB. Have 16 gigabytes of DDR4 Corsair Vengeance and 8 more GB RAM. I have a graphics card. If it is really old, we're only using it just because, and we just had a spare one, so we might as well use it. But it is a GeForce FX 5200. 32mm fan. Also have a 500 watt power supply. Okay, now we got our motherboard portion. The CPU is already installed, and so is the cooler, which is an air-cooled cooler, so you want to install this first before anything. And we do got 4 sticks of RAM, including the Corsair Vengeance Pro RAM. Not the RGB one, but it is DDR4. You guys heard? Each stick should have a certain place, but if you have 4 sticks, then you don't have to put a certain place. So the main thing is, if your motherboard's like, these chips aren't like that, it's like this, you want to pull it back and make sure it is. Then you want to attach it like this, and just pull down on each side. Sometimes both will click, and then you want to hear the click, and that's when you know you're done for sure. That's the first stick. Next with the second stick, same exact process. And then other side. Then for these sticks, you want to be a little bit more delicate, but you also want to make sure that this side is facing towards there, or the floor. And you want to put these ones at the last instead of the thinnest, and the most easy to get ruined. So when you're using your PC, these sticks don't get ruined. This one. Oh, it's already there. Sometimes both clicks might happen and you don't know about the second one, but if you see it like this, then that should be good enough. Finally, for the last stick, you also make sure that you don't touch the bottom part most of the times. You can, those last metal parts, that's one, and they both click somehow, like this one. And you'll also want to get a quick double look, make sure that nothing's not in properly, and that consists of the motherboard part. So next we're going to go on into installing the motherboard. Now we're here for the motherboard installation. So you get your case, make sure it's facing forward to you, and you pick up your motherboard. Make sure you're not touching any of the bottom screws. You can clearly feel it if you are. Then you want to align it up with the screw holes. Wait, did I put it wrong? You want to align it up with the screw holes, which is also very hard, but you have to make sure that this part is going on the side, because there will be a panel that we have to put in. Is it there? Wait, no. Now it's installed. So the next thing you want is a screwdriver and the motherboard screws, which should either come with the case or the motherboard. Now you want to locate where all the screws go. So there's 1 here, 2 here, there's a 3rd one here, 4th one. Any more? Yeah, there's a 5th one there and a 6th one right there. So then you want to install the screws. Make sure you be very careful in it, and make sure the screws don't fall anywhere, because if it somehow gets under the motherboard, then you have to uninstall the motherboard. But if you didn't screw anything in, then it's okay, I guess. I'll fast forward this part.
Don't use any music.
Don't use software music. Listen, it comes with software, right? So if you copyright music, it's custom made for the software. This is all another 2 more slots. These slots are slots, but they also have the most important slots. And You can see most Gigabyte motherboards, this old model, it should have 8 screws right here, which I all fixed. One's right here. This is the second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one. And then there's 2 here. This is the 7th and 8th one. Those ones are really hard. Next, we want to install this plate. This is supposed to protect anything from coming in the motherboard. And it's supposed to make it easier to actually install stuff. So for your case, you want to make it like this, as in an easier way after you do screw in your stuff. Are we supposed to install this in the start? Okay guys, quick error. You're actually supposed to check if the motherboard works and put this in the beginning. We actually kind of messed it up. But also before you do this, if there's a power supply cable that goes like this, in some cases there might be a really small hole that you have to bring it out of. It's really hard for this one. So it's better off to just bring out the cable in the beginning. Also, if you have a fan that you're planning to install right here, then you want to bring this cable in first before you install it too. So for this case, which is the same for many cases, you want to bring it in through this little hole, and then through this little hole right here. See right there. Bring it in from that hole, and that should be all. So it can soon connect into the power supply. Those cables are some of the hardest to put, trust us, say that. Okay, so now you want to look at this part and see the ways it would fit. So think of it as this. Look at our motherboard and where it's supposed to go. So then look at it, see if it's the right way on. If it is, which it is in fact, then this is the way you know how to put it. This part should be showing in the back where it comes out like this. So then you just install right here. Where's it go? Do you have to screw this in? Just stop it. We installed this mount, which is actually a very hard process, but we were right that you want to take this out before and do these cables before. So I guess now what we're going to do is install the motherboard, and we don't want to get you in all that trouble of seeing us screw it in, so we're just going to screw it in. We're going to be installing the graphics card. One main thing while installing the graphics card, that if you guys taken out a graphics card before, then this little button on special cases might come off. It's very easy to put it on. Just put it in place and you yoink it down. So now we're on to the graphics card. This graphics card is a GeForce FX 5200. It's pretty old, but it's like we just found it in the garage because why not? And then it's a 250 megahertz, kind of slow. So it does look really bad, but it's just, we found it, so why not just use it. So these ones that have like no case on them, this is a really old one. It looks super cool. So these graphics cards that have no cases on them, these ones you have to be really delicate with, especially this part. And it's like a whole motherboard. Just looking at this, it's like really weird. So with the PC, one thing that you want to do is these slots, you want to take it out, unscrew it, and take out the main thing. These are already taken out somehow. And so, yeah. The next thing you want to do is find these golden parts. Then get this matched up like right here. And before you put it in place, you want to make sure that this thing right here is up and above. So this part can actually go in. Then you put it very carefully. Wait, does it fit? No, I just... Okay, so we tried out. This port doesn't actually work with this PC, but my dad doesn't need a graphics card anyway, so we're just gonna put this one back in the box and probably throw away the real box because that's creepy. It's like super creepy actually. And so rip the graphics card, but hey. And then now we have to, is it time for the power supply? Yeah, it is time. Okay, so now you want to take your PC case, as you saw, no, The cable should not fall. This cable, we make sure that this cable does not fall out. And this is our power supply, 500 watts. We don't know what brand, we just found it. So that's what we're gonna use. Right here's the fan header, and then right here is the power supply. So with the power supply, before you actually install it, you want to connect all the cables right, and connect all the cables power supply. Right now this is like really messy, and we are really confused. I'm really confused on the cables. Also, we have to get the, where's the number? We also have to get the 120 GB SSD and the 2 TB hard drive installed with this. So for this, we'll just keep it somewhere with the mount, like tape or something. And then this one, there's already a built-in one. We can just install that there. So the first step, I think, is probably routing the most hard cable for us to take out. So this cable is almost, make sure you connect the cables. So right now, this cable, as you can see, it's a pin cable. You want to pull, and then place it in right there. It's really hard to see. I can't even see. You want to connect that later probably, but right now we have the fan, which we had to uninstall, which you want to install first priority, I'm pretty sure. So you have to make sure that your holes match up with the fan. So just look at your holes, maybe put your head in the case, like you have to match up. Match. They're not matching. Okay. Oh, hi. Just drinking my really nice X's caffeine-free juice flavor. You can get it at myevasglobe.com. Link down below. Actually managed installing that cable. We finally installed the fan, which you gotta match up the cables. And the next thing is probably putting the power supply where it's supposed to be. Not necessarily screwing it, but just putting it where it's supposed to be. While doing this, you want to find the open spot in your PC. Like a hole there, because you can't do it from the front, so you want to take out the back panel and try to find this. Then in your power supply, you also want to try to find where there's lots of holes, like a honeycomb style, and a power on and off switch. Also, a plug open area. Then you want to easily slide. You want to move away all the cables. Then just slide in your power supply. First of all, while sliding in your power supply, make sure it's always running up to the wall. Also make sure on these holes, make sure there's another hole on it, which there is. But we're not screwing it, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Next, in fact, we are actually screwing it. So we need the screwdriver right here. And we need the 4 cables, or the 4 screws, which are, for our thing, are the same as the motherboard screws. Wait, 2? Yeah, 2. Okay, that's 1. Second one right there. It's always good to tighten in your screws before you actually screw it in. Just first of all to see if that screw actually fits. And make sure there's no other way to screw it for your final screw. That's when you know that it's done. Some power supplies might only have 3 screws, 2 screws, not 1 though, but even 4 screws, maybe 5. And that's all for the power supply. Well, we got our cables. Our cables are probably one of the most complicated parts overall, because you have to find the certain pin cable. So first we're going to start off with the biggest one. Before you actually plug in the cable, you want to see where in the motherboard the cable belongs. Since that was the biggest one, it probably belongs there. So you want to see which hole is the closest, which is this hole, and you want to grab the cable and pull it through that hole. And then you want to pull it up to where it can actually connect. Then you just want to make sure everything's in place. And make sure everything's, and there it is, connected. Next, we want to look for the next cable that looks like that, because these cables we'll get into later. The next cable, as you can see, that's the only one. Okay, we're gonna go to these cables. These cables are like small cables. So we have to go to the back of the computer and look. Are these cables? They look like these cables. Just building it. We routed all the cables. We didn't want it to be too boring for you. So we routed all the cables, and this is how it is. Wait, it's not even connected. Wait, one. This is how it looks. We just have to place the panel on, the back panel, connect it to the monitors, and it's all set for my deck. This is booting. That's good. At least the PC works. Tip on the hard disk is to clone your hard disk with another hard disk you have, so it doesn't have to take like 52 hours installing Windows on it. It seems that everything in the PC is functional. We just put in the first panel, the second one is there, and then we got the monitor.